Hey guys, it's Ashley with Everyday Beauty with Ashley, and today I'm going to be showing you a really simple summer day look. I'm getting ready to take my children to the splash pad, and I know it's probably going to be hot. I'm probably going to be sweating, and I might get wet and splashed in the splash pad. So I'm choosing my products carefully today. I obviously could skip makeup, but I like wearing makeup out, and it just makes me feel put together. So this would be great if you're going to the beach or you just know you're going to be outside in the heat all day, but you want to put a little bit of a face on. So I started with my skincare routine this morning. I washed with my Quench Cleanse, and I actually did my skin polish this morning because I needed it. And then I applied Must Do, which is our face oil. Now, this face oil actually is meant for all skin types. I do tend to be on the dry side, but even if you're oily, you can use this face oil. It's very nourishing and hydrating, and once you apply it, it actually absorbs right into the skin. So it's actually really nice to use underneath your makeup if you're wanting more of like a dewy, reflective highlight look going on. If you tend to be on the oily side and you have a problem with your foundation or your concealer kind of slipping anyway, you might want to skip this step. The other option is to put it on and then just blot it with a tissue after it's been on for about 5-10 minutes, just to remove any excess oil. You also probably will want to add an extra step of translucent powder as well if you're oily, which I'm going to skip because I tend to actually be more on the dry side. So even though I still like to use this underneath my foundation, I also like to give it a little bit of time to absorb into my skin after I apply it. So if you're in a rush and you're going straight from skincare routine to makeup, you may want to skip the must do step. You just can play around with it and see what works for you. If you use it and you have a little bit of problem with your foundation staying nice or staying put, then you may want to skip it. But it does give a really nice fresh effect to the skin. So today I'm actually going to be focusing on using our waterproof concealers. So I obviously have a palette here because I use a wide variety of colors as a makeup artist. But for yourself, you may just want to pick 1 or 2 shades. So our concealers are waterproof, which is why I'm going with them today versus a full face of foundation, because it's going to prevent anything from moving or changing with sweat. Even though I've never really had a problem with that with our foundation, this is just a better bet if I'm going to be out in the heat or wet or anything like that. So we have a few different shade ranges. We have some that have green undertone. We have one that has more of a green undertone. That's our 01 concealer. And then our 02 and 03 have a little bit more of a yellow or orangey tone. And that's great for if you're wanting to cover under eye, like the purpley blue tones in your under eye. The green is better for if you're wanting to cover any sort of red blemishes, any sort of like busted capillaries or anything like that. That's great for that. And then we have our 00, which is also more of a fair. We have a couple of darker shades as well, which I do not have in my palette yet, but I will eventually. So for yourself, you can actually just use your finger and take some product out with your finger, but since I use my palette on other people, I'm using my metal spatula. This is a wax-based product, so you're going to want to warm it up on the back of your hand. So just take your product and your middle finger and just kind of swirl it around. This is going to warm it up and just make it a little bit easier to apply on your skin. All right. And then I'm just going to take my finger and just tap it right underneath my under eye. I'm looking in my mirror right behind my camera, so that's why it looks, I'm staring off. I also like to go on my eyelid. This actually works great as a primer. So I'm going to be skipping the eyeshadow today, but this is a great step to use underneath your eyeliner, or eyeshadow, I'm sorry, to help it just have like a nice even surface to adhere to, and it'll just help it last a little bit longer. All right. So once it's applied, I want to actually kind of blend it out with my fingers. You can absolutely use a brush or use a Blenderful or another beauty blender, but your hands just work just as well. And since we're going with simple, and you're probably, if you're running out to the beach or somewhere, you're going to be maybe doing this pretty quickly. So that's why we're just going to skip all the tools and we're going to use our hands, which, you know, your hands are your best tool. All right, I have a little bit of a blemish up on my forehead. So you guys can see I concentrated on the area that I want it on. So I want it right here, so I'm tapping it there. And then I use my fingers just to blend out from there. I always tend to get kind of deep looking in the inner corners of my eye. Let's see, doing it anywhere else? Now this is going to look different for everybody. If you have areas that you feel like you need a little bit more coverage on, then you hit those areas. Right. So I just personally focused on my under eye and my eyelid, a little blemish on my forehead, and I have some scarring around my lips. So I just went around there. Plus, I feel like that will make my lip color pop a little bit more to have that on there. So that's it for face. Waterproof concealer, one shade, just spot concealing. The other thing that I want to do is I want to apply our glowing blush right here. Let me find a blush brush. It's the only thing I didn't grab. So this is our blush number 6 right here, and it's not really a highlight because it's, unless you have darker skin, on me it's not really a highlight, it's actually more like the color of my face, but it does have some shimmer to it. So I like to use this almost as a setting powder instead of the translucent powder because it just gives me a little bit more shimmer to my face. All right, so the next step is waterproof concealer, or perfect mascara. I meant to say this actually is not waterproof. It is a fiber mascara, that's one step. So considering that it's not waterproof, you want to keep that in mind if you're going to be going in the water. I teased you all by saying waterproof. This is such an exciting part, watching me put on my mascara. Now if you wanted to, you could do just like a wash of eyeshadow over your lid. You could even do a liquid liner if you felt adventurous. I'm keeping it really simple today. I'm actually going to be throwing on my sunglasses. So most of the time my eyes are going to be covered anyway. Right. And the last step for my face is going to be lip color. So you have a couple of options here. If you want to keep it really natural, then you can pick one of our signature jeweled lip glosses. I have Grace and Dream here. These both would be perfect. One is like a peachy pink color and the other one is like a purpley pink color. They have a little bit of shimmer to it. I personally really like to go for some color, especially if I'm going to be using sunglasses. So our Cupcake or our Candy Apple Enduring Lip Colors would be perfect for this. I am going to go with Candy Apple on my lips, but I'm going to really quickly put a little bit of Cupcake on my cheeks as like a cream blush. I really like doing this because I feel like it helps with that dewy look versus using a powder. And I know I just set it with my shimmery powder, so I'm going back over powder with cream, which is a little bit of a no-no, but that's okay. We're breaking rules today. Okay. And again, I'm using my fingers. This works really well to use with your fingers. If you're weirded out by using your fingers, you could use a sponge. But I'm using just a touch of product for that to give myself just a little bit of color on my cheeks. And then the last step is going to be lips. So I'm choosing Candy Apple today. I think red is a perfect summer color. I just love wearing red lips. I love wearing red nail polish. It just feels really bright and fun and summer. It reminds me of summer. So that's why I'm going with red, but you go with whatever you feel comfortable with. So our Enduring Lip Color is going to stay put and last, which is why I like to choose this one. Clean off the concealer on my lips. I like to choose this product for the long-lasting outside sweating and the water purposes as well, because it's going to stay put and I'm not going to have to think about it or worry about it. I can just play and have fun and not worry about my lips. when you're applying, you do have to be careful about how you apply it because this is going to stay put. So it's a little less forgiving than a gloss or a traditional lipstick. I'm actually using the product to kind of create my lip line and line my lips. You don't need a lip liner with this because of this part. All right. So there's our candy apple red lips. I love this color so much. My last step is going to be our liquid sunshine. So you can absolutely skip this step, but I haven't gotten much sun yet this summer, so I'm just gonna give myself a little bit of an all-over bronzer. I'm gonna put some on my neck, and my chest, and my shoulders. This isn't waterproof, but it does stay put pretty well, so don't worry about it rubbing off on your clothes or anything like that. You want to make sure it dries before you put clothes over it, so if you're putting it on your legs and you're going to be putting on pants, you obviously want to be a little bit more careful. Alright, so there we go. There is my easy summer day look. I'm going to put on my shades, and I'm going to go have fun at the splash pad with my kids. Have a fun summer.